Alrighties. Alright, now we are live. Woohoo! Hello everybody and welcome. Welcome. Making sure everything's up and running. Alright, I think we're up and running. Woohoo! Welcome to another Art Time with Aggie. It is another Friday where we get to draw something cute and enjoyable and fun. So what are we drawing today? So I went through your recommendations and someone mentioned Yzma from Emperor's New Groove, and I thought, well, what about kitten version of her? So I don't know if you guys all seen Emperor's New Groove. If you haven't, I recommend watching it. It involves the villain being turned into a cute little kitten, and I'm like, I don't think we've really drawn any kittens on this stream, so why not draw some kittens today? I think it'll be very enjoyable. So if you have a pencil, a marker, and eraser, these are your ideal tools today. If not, don't worry about it. Anything you could draw with, light colored, dark colored. I'm going to be painting today, so I have my brush ready as well. So we have our piece of art ready. So with everything that we start with, we always start with our favorite shape, which is a circle. And now the way we're going to do it, the head's going to be quite large. So if this is your paper, notice my camera's a little low today. Sorry guys, let me see if I could scoot it up just a little bit. It's a little better, we're a little further away. So the head's going to be majority of the page. We're drawing cute, big, and we're going to be drawing on a slight angle. So the head is going to be on an angle. So I'm just going to show you guys the angle right now. This is the angle the head's going to be on for our Kitten Yzma. And we want to draw a big circle. So we got ourselves a big circle. You can see it's on an angle. So keep that in mind today, guys. And because it's a really cute kitten version of her, the eyes are going to be lower on the head. So the line across, I'm angling it near the bottom. So that there is what we are using as the base for our drawing today. And we're going to be drawing the kitten sitting today. So we're going to work out the body, but right now what you need to do for the body, you're going to draw kind of like a bean shape. So if you want to watch me first, so this bean shape right here is going to be the body. So it basically looks like a weird bean with a giant circle on top of it. And it's all going to come together eventually. So on this bean shape, this line right here is basically the middle of the chest, just to keep that in mind. And we're going to move up right here, and I'm just going to set little markers for where I want the ears to be. So I just gave myself 2 dots. I'm trying to make sure these dots are spaced evenly, because I'm going to be drawing big kitten ears. So now I'm going to draw a big triangle. I'm going to curve my triangle, but it's big kitty cat ears. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. So our kitten is going to start coming together. And I'm going to draw a line right here that's a little closer to the top. That's the top of the ear and the inside of the ear. So there's a little kitten coming together today. It's going to be a nice, fun drawing. And we're going to establish where the paws are, because of course we need to have paws. And the foot is going to be right here on the chest. And it's going to go down in kind of a cylinder that starts off bigger and ends smaller. At the bottom of this cylinder, we're going to add the little foot. So it's just like a little, almost like a little rounded triangle. And we're going to have Yzma holding the potion. It's a potion that turns you into an animal or kills you or all the bad stuff and good stuff in one. But she's a kitty cat. And we need this potion. So we're going to draw her other hand going outwards this way. And we want to keep it very similar shape as here. Looks kind of funny right now, doesn't it? We'll be getting it all sorted out and it'll all make sense soon. So Yzma is a little kitty cat and she needs little kitty cat legs. So right here, I'm going to add a very similar shape, almost like that little triangle, curved triangle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shape I created here and I'm just going to go a little bit over and lay it so it looks like it's going just a little bit behind this shape right here. And I'm going to go up and over, kind of add like a, almost like the body and the weight of the body is flopping over that foot. So you can see there's a tiny itty bitty little curve right here. Just a tiny one. And then you can add little toesies. And right here, you could add little toesies as well. And she still needs one of her feet. So what you're going to do is when you're right here, just under the arm, add a rounded shape, but don't make it a full circle. Add a little lump in the circle and then go, because this part right here is going to be laying over the footsie. And just so you know, this line right here, we're not going to be using it anymore. I'm just erasing it. You don't have to yet, just to show you how that's going to look. So it's a cute little chubby kitty. And Yzma needs a tail. So we're going to draw the center of the tail, and the tail is going to go out. It's going to curve, and it's going to create this shape right here. So this is the line our tail is going to follow today. And the tail is going to be about this width. She's got a fluffy kitty cat tail. So we're going to draw it out. We're going to fluff it. Remember how we taught you guys to make the little fluffs? And I'm going to turn it to follow that point and add little points to make it look like a cute fluffy tail. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to follow the shape but make it more puffy. So now Yzma has a very cute puffy tail. Now we don't even have a face yet, do we? So what we're going to do, we're going to create an oval shape lightly right here that we're going to carve out and figure out how the face and the little mouth on the kitty cat sits. So right here, I'm going to add a little nose. It's sitting slightly just above the halfway point. And right here, if I'm going to get it right, we're going to add a little smile. A little lopsided smile. So right here, just below the nose, we're going to curve upwards. And on this side, we're going to curve just past. We're going to give this kitty cat a little kitty smirk. And then we're going to connect this to this. And then right here, we're going to add that little smirk going outwards. And then we need to add the little chinny chin chin. And the little chinny chin chin. Just cut into that circle a little bit of a chin. So our Cat Yzma is coming together. And now we're going to start with the eyes. We're going to make the eyes one bigger, one smaller, because Yzma Cat is going to be looking very like she's up to no good Nick, because she's up to no good Nick. Sorry guys, my reference just froze. Ignore that. All right, I am back. Hopefully. So we're going to be adding the eyes right here and right here. And what I need you guys to do right above that line, I want you guys to do these little half circles. See, they're just like these little nooks, because right here, we're going to angle it upwards. So this is the top of the eye. Make sure everything's up and running. Perfect, good to go. And this one right here, I want you guys to angle it much higher. So if you have your points right here, this one we went quite lower. This one we're gonna go much higher. Alrighties. And right here, we're going to add a little bit of a line because this mark is causing this cheek to go up. Hello. And now we got to add almost like a half circle shape to connect this eye right here. And then this half circle shape will be right here. Gonna go out a little further right here. Give Yzma big kitty cat eyes. Steaming kitty cat eyes. I think we're all good, so we can continue along. And we're going to make the eyes looking to the side. So we're going to add a half circle here and a half circle here. And then we're going to add a little circle for the reflection for the eyes. You can see Yzma Kitty starting to come together. Now, Yzma Kitty is going to be holding a potion. So I'm just going to draw a line for the center of where I want the potion to be. So this is the center of the potion. And now I'm going to draw a cylinder shape that's thinner at the top and gets a little bit wider at the bottom. And I'm going to add a little half circle on both sides. And just in the middle of that half circle, I'm going to add a slightly curved line because this is going to be where the cap of the potion sits. And then I'm going to draw two lines going just slightly outwards. And I'm going to draw an oval at the top. So this is the cap to our little potion. And you can connect the dots here. And now we're going to draw the potion in the bottle. So we're going to draw this shape but slightly inwards. Because if you have a glass bottle, the liquid won't go all the way to the sides because that's the bottle part of it. So the liquid's going to sit right inside. So we're going to draw a little cylinder. So there's the liquid sitting in the potion bottle. And if you like, right here, you could add another cylinder to act as the reflection. There's a little reflection right there. And now you could draw the paws here as little circles. So it's a little circle. One little circle. Two little circles. And the last circle will be slightly behind the bottle. And the paw right there. So now it looks like the kitty cat is holding the bottle in the little kitty cat paws. And now we could start working out some of the details of the face because we need to add some cheeks and structure the face a little more. So right when you get past the ear right here, so at this point right here, I want you guys to go out and add little fur. And round it back in. So now it looks like this kitty cat has big furry cheeks. And I want you to do that on both sides. This side right here is going to go behind the bottle, so you got to imagine it. So now our kitty cat has little kitty cat cheeks. Let's lower that a bit more. So now our Yzma has cheeks. Yzma has little fluffs on her head, so we have to add little fluffs of hair. So remember guys, just like little half circles, little points. It could be sporadic in size. But now Yzma has a little tuft of hair as well. And right here, I'm just going to add a little line to show that the eyebrows are going up. I'm just going to add a little line right here too. Little scheming kitty. And little scheming kitty needs whiskers. So I'm just going to turn the page. And before I do that, if you guys want, this is where my whiskers are going to sit. Just so you guys know where I'm putting the start of my whiskers. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, going to go behind the bottle. 2, and 3. So now Yzma has little whiskers as well. And we have a little scheming Yzma kitty today. And now we can ink it and color it. So grab whatever you want to use to do your lines. So grab your marker. I'm going to grab this brush right here. I'm going to grab my purple because I'm going to use the purple and the black, I think, for this one. So I'm going to add black right here for the top of the eyes. This is kind of how you can see when I use mixed media. So I'm going to not only be using my black ink, I'm going to be using my purple ink as well and my watercolors. And now I'm going to be grabbing, hello, my purple. Make sure my purple's not bleeding on me because that would not be fun. And very delicately, I'm going to start outlining the lines I want to keep. Remember guys, you're not keeping all the lines you created today because some of them are just used for guides. So we are only working with the lines that we want to keep, the lines that are important for us to keep. And you see, there goes bleeding. I was ready for that to happen just in case. Let's darken that up since it bled on the other side. We want them both the same. And the little nose. The top. Curve outwards. Following only the lines we want to keep. Completely ignoring any lines we don't want to keep today. And I'm going to be turning my page a lot, sorry guys, just because I want to make sure not to put my hand in anything that might still be wet. That might destroy my drawing. Little tufts of hair, a little strand right there. I'm going to go around the side. Go across the bottom here. And remember guys, this side goes behind the drink, the little potion, so I'm keeping that in mind. This is actually it's a Sakura watercolor brush pen. You could get it at most art stores online. And it's just a watercolor brush pen. It holds its own water in the cartridge. I put ink in the cartridge. So you open it up and you put whatever you want inside. It could be water, it can be ink. Then the ear. And there we go. And I'm going to start with the little paws because the paws sit over the potion bottle. And I want to make sure I don't by accident go over it. And I'm just going to very lightly just ink this reflection just so I don't forget it's here. Very thin lines for it. Now remember guys, it's very important. We're just going over the lines we want to keep. We are completely ignoring any lines we don't want to keep. Very happy with this suggestion, guys. This one makes me extremely happy. She's so cute. Actually, you watched the movie about a month or two ago, and I highly recommend it. It's a hilarious movie if you haven't watched it. And then the little belly. And remember, guys, this is flopping over here, so I'm just going to add a little more of a flop line on mine, but you don't have to. Little toesies. And then we're going to loop this one down and around to show the little belly, the floppy little kitty. Round it about. And any questions you guys have, do not hesitate to ask. The pen question was a great one. It's a really fun tool to use. I love playing around with different tools. It's always fun to see what you might like or don't like. And sometimes if you find a tool and you don't like it at all, always give it a few tries, because that's how it was when I was with watercolors. I actually used to hate watercolors because I was so bad at it. And I denounced watercolors, but then I ended up going back to them and I ended up really loving watercolors because once I learned not to over control the watercolors, I enjoyed it a lot more. So sometimes you got to give a new tool a couple of tries to figure out if you really like it. Now we need whiskers. Technically her whiskers are white, but we're just going to make them purple just to make it a lot easier. Maybe I could go over and add a little bit of white with my white marker that I have, the gel pen, which I showed you guys in past episodes. I think that's all our lines. Everything else is a guideline, so we're not touching it because our guidelines were there to guide us and we don't need them anymore. So now we got to give it a second, make sure it's dry. And if you're not sure if it's dry or not, lift up your art and see if it reflects any light. Because if it reflects light, it still means it's wet. So you want to make sure to be careful. So I'm going to quickly check. I don't see any light being reflected. That's a good thing. So now I'm going to erase it. And remember, guys, when you erase your piece, you hold it down. I've made this mistake more than once. Make sure to hold down your art. Oh, yes, and today's a big day. Today is the last day to enter to win a piece from this month. Oh, yes. So make sure to follow me on Instagram for all the information. And if you want to try to win Yzma Kitty or another piece I did this month, please enter the contest. And I will be announcing the winner tonight after midnight. So that way by tomorrow morning, the winner will know who the winner is. And if you're interested in any of the Art Time with Aggie pieces that I drew, the ones that were not given away will be on my website on August 1st, just for the day, so just for 24 hours. Now you can see if there's one that you might want to take home with you. And now we have a kitty cat waiting to be colored. So we're going to be using a lot of purple today. And how do we make purple, guys? Do we remember? We mix red and blue together to make purple. We want it to be a quite light purple. I actually have this purple right here. I'm just going to put it right here, just mix it in because I want. So you can see my color palette, my very messy one. Here's my blue. And my red, technically it's pink. And I need more blue. Just trying to get the right purple because she's a very lavender color. There we go. See that nice lavender? Lavenders, if you're wondering what lavender is just a type of purple. So it's more on the bluer hint of a purple, I would say. But that's just what the type of purple I mixed up for you guys today is. So I mixed up a good amount. And remember, guys, when I start, I always start with the sections I feel are going to be darker. And this is going to be white. So remember, so don't color her snout. So I'm going to start with the bottom of her face since I know that's going to be darker than the top of her head because my light source almost always comes from the top. So this eraser is my light source. So I'm keeping this in mind because light sources are very important. And here we go, kitty cat. You're turning purple. Everyone's like, purple cat? There's no such thing as a purple cat. There is now. But if your cat by accident walks in paint, then you would have a purple cat if you're using purple paint. I actually used to have a Chow Chow, and he used to be black. But my mother and I were repainting our living room white because we didn't like the color. So we wanted it white, and our Chow, unexpectedly, when we weren't looking, decided to rub himself up against the wall. So our black Chow ended up becoming a bit of a panda because he turned into a white and black Chow. The problem, guys, is that paint was not easy to get out of his fur because here's the thing, when paint dries, it turns hard. So, you guessed it, my dog had some hard white paint on him, and boy, was it difficult. I remember my mom struggling to get that out of his long fur. And Chows have long fur, guys. Getting paint out of long fur is not easy at all. There's a fun story for you guys. Getting paint out of a Chow Chow's fur. And now we can move to the ears. And the ears are actually all purple. I'm just going to cover this in one hint of purple, and I'm going to go in and add the shadows afterwards. Let's go to this ear. Sorry guys, that was me hitting the stand. All right. Now I can move down to the body. I'm just going to start right under the head and move here because I know this will be a little bit darker. And I'm going to round it around, getting all the sections I want. Get a little more paint. Add a little more water so I can lighten it. Fade it out. And go to the paw. Darken it up just a little bit. Let me just flip it because I don't want to put my hand in anything that's wet. And I don't want to get to the tail right here. And flip it back around. Now her eyes are also purple, but it's a lighter purple, and her snout is a little bit purple, but it's very, very light. So if you don't have a really light purple, you can leave it as is white. I'm just going to add a little bit of this blue purple. I'm keeping it very light. Very light, just a little bit of color. And now I'm going to mix more purple up. So I'm mixing my blue and red together. And see, now it's a darker purple because I need a darker purple for her eyes. And her nose is going to be pink. So I'm going to, this time around, I'm pushing my color upwards because I want the top of the eye. And it's easier in small spaces to push color up and down. So I'm just pushing my color upwards just to make it a little darker right underneath the eye. Alrighty. I just need a little bit of a light pink. So I'm going to mix a little bit of a, just a little bit of a pink. And dab it on the nosy. So our little Yzma kitty's coming together, and the bottle is going to be blue. So I want just a light blue. And the bottle's technically white, but we're going to make it light blue just to show a little bit of color and definition. Because a lot of the time, bottles, since they're white, they're still interpreted as blue or gray. So we're making ours blue. Now I got to give that a second because I want to add the other colors, like the color of the potion, which is a very bright pink, and the color of the cork, which is orangish brown. So I'm just giving that a second to dry. I can mix up a nice bright pink right here. Nice and bright. Now we can go to cork, mix up a bit of brown, a bit of orange, and we can color the cork. And those are all our base colors. So now we could add some of the shading and add some of the lighting. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more of a purple. I want to keep it on the bluer end. So you guys can see my purple is on the bluer end. It's not, there we go. I think that color will work. We're going to use that as our shadow color. So right under the head, we could add a bit of a shadow because the head is definitely going to be casting a shadow down. And right here where the belly is. So now we're adding more definition to our Yzma kitty. Let's fade this out a bit more because I don't want it as pronounced, but I do definitely want it a little darker. And right here on the footsie, I could definitely darken that up a little bit. The paw. So I'm basically thinking about exactly where my light source is coming from. It's very important. Remember, guys, this is our light source. So keeping this in mind. And right under here. Definitely need to add that little belly area. You can see it's really coming together now when we start adding the shadows. A little bit on the foot here. And the paw. And fade this out a bit more. And a little bit under the bottle, because the bottle would definitely be casting a little bit of a shadow there. Fade it out a bit more. There we go. A little bit under the tail. Sorry guys, I gotta turn this. Just a little bit, a little detail. Our Yzma kitty starting to come together. Someone wrote, looks like watercolors take a very light touch to get everything just right. Never was able to work with them. Yes, I guess you do need a light touch. It depends on what you're doing and if the piece you're doing is a little more detailed or also how big or small. If you're working larger, then you can have a little more whimsy with the brush strokes and the size of them. When you're working smaller, a little bit of a detailed light touch, a little more precision works. But when you're learning watercolors, don't worry about being precise. Just worry about getting shapes, the bigger shapes, and having fun with it. Because if you start watercolors and you want to control everything, you're not going to have a very fun time. You're going to be getting very annoyed because you want to control them. And the one thing about watercolors is you can only control them to a point. You can't control every little detail because they are water-based medium. And unfortunately, they're just going to do what they want to a point. So don't try to control everything, especially with water-based stuff like watercolors. Have fun with it. Worry about the shapes more so than every little detail because you will drive yourself crazy and you're not going to enjoy the experience. And it's about finding medium that you can enjoy. Thank you that you let someone said the expression has a lot of character. Well, she is a very expressive character, definitely. So thank you. Just got a little tiny bit of a shadow right here. Just add a little more depth under here. Just to add a little more character. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow on the lower part of her face and just fade it out. It doesn't have to be a hard one. Just to add more character, more depth to her. So I'm going to fade that out. sorry guys, my sleeve hit something. I'm just going to darken it just a little bit right over her eye, add a bit more of that expressive nature, and just a little bit of a shadow on the side of her head. And just a little bit right where her whiskers are. And now the bottle, add a little more shading. I'm just going to darken it up on the side right here, the part that's away from the light. And a little bit on the cork side right here. So that way it looks shaded. It has a little more volume, more definition to it. It doesn't look as flat. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow under Yzma, and I'm going to make the shadow more blue only because we have a lot of purple going on. And I think I'm going to make the background orangish yellow because of where the purple and orange sit on the color wheel. They are opposite of each other, which means the two colors work really nicely when worked together. So I'm going to mix up yellow. So remember guys, if you want to start coloring, start learning about the color wheel and start learning about why different colors work together. Because there are reasons why certain colors will work together better than other colors, and why when you mix certain colors together, they just look really good together. And I'll also help you understand why you put certain colors into shadows. Let's move the orange here. I'm going to fade it out to a yellow. So add a bit of an orange here, and I can fade it out. Yeah, a lot of watercolors, moving the water around, moving the color around, blending, just having fun with it, getting to know it. Especially if you're just learning watercolor, the first thing you should be doing is just play around with shapes and color rather than just trying to do a completed picture. Especially if you don't understand watercolors and you try to do a completed picture and you're like, why doesn't it look the way I want it? So you have to learn how to use it first. Now you guys can see how it's helping pop the color. Oops. Fade that out. I want that color there. We have our little Yzma kitty. Maybe just a little bit more orange right here. There. I think that looks good. And we have Kitten Yzma right there. Now remember guys, when you're done your piece, make sure it's dry. Wherever you do this, sign your name. And there you have it. And remember guys, if you guys want to enter this month's contest, which ends today, head over to my Instagram. All the info is there. And then tomorrow is the last day, August 1st, to buy anything off my website, which will be updated first thing tomorrow morning, and then you have till the end of the day. And yeah, I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Remember to wash your hands, be nice to each other, take care of each other, wear your mask, all good stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful day.